I remained breathing the garden's familiar glow of jasmine, moving discreetly among the disciples, not out of fear, from deference to the finality of the occasion. Like them, I dressed in concealing black garments, a plastic hood ripped around my bleeding gums. You can imagine the torments of my nights. I had dreamed once of feeding you little strips of my flesh I would flay with a device of my invention, a combination of spatula and knife, passing them up to your generous lips, watching the blood drip onto your breasts. We had spoken of this, and I think for a while you would have been willing to, but my body had become something obscene in your eyes, and by extension in mine, swollen as the abdomen of a spider, pallid and replete with infected cuts. Did you see me? Possible. You could have had me removed. A word would have sufficed. I would have acceded. You are consequently the vanished mediator, open to the primal gaping and yawning chaos. You are kiss and wound, a tearing whose abject flower is love. Agate, the unrepeatable, unprecedented kiss. There is nothing to be properly opposed to you, for the wound contrasts to nothing, being the medium of opposition itself. No, in that dying, brilliant evening, I was not your antithesis, nor as the disciples' sentiments became feigned and idolatrous, reifying your voice, your body, and mind. I served you best here, becoming forgotten. Even your words are lost to me, while declarations of fidelity are broken. My pornographic testament is all we have, that and a used condom dried up in a corridor. In truth, I only ever wanted to be vermin. My destitution alone cannot lie. Can that penultimate gift, a message from behind the mirror, its tale, a dull laminate under appearances? You prepared yourself in the recesses of the pavilion. There, you opened the container cleanly, its segmented shell, the carapace of some hypertrophic insect, the closed bags of tanned human leather, eager in their abrupt fashion to be seen. You carefully removed your ceremonial dress from the gardens, the pins of chastisement still stigmatized, wet ruby trails scabbing on your breasts, belly and inner thighs. You are dust. The skirt was steel. Incurved talons on skin lacerated you whenever or however you chose. This clip shows you drawing its bodice from sacks of cultured creepers, delicate webs of flesh tearing around its jet-black thorns. The bodice was as subtle as the skirt, designed to bite into flesh without tearing, and for its wounds to be soon erased. When you felt it pierce your breasts, that first tincture of love, you hissed. This protracted sound seemed to emanate from the night air around me. I hovered in the moon shadows of the inner courtyard, feeling the gravity of that anomalous planet. I smiled as a spider might, as I smile now. You find maps of all cities on cafe menus, on the grimy wallpaper of a popular chop house, sketched in cursives and spirals of smoke, constellated among stars or set theoretical abstractions, in the mud, under the shattered masonry of a tobacco warehouse. Under this demolished warehouse by the weed-choked peripheral canal of Zeta, the map of its altar city, Psi, is traversed by verminous black insects. Their carapaces are inscribed with interior labyrinths, satirizing the thin mountain air and monumental absences of Zeta. You hold the abscessed paw of an indigent priest crouched on a straw mat by the pretentious entrance of a downtown store, its pale skin seamed with dust and grease and purple erotic sores. You abuse yourself by licking the sores. The nerve damage induced by the order's arcane poisons amplifies sensation, frees thought of all but the litany of the one, the rose. When you are gone, the priest rubs his ejaculate discreetly into his palm. His stump holds an olfactory map of sunken cities decaying in the wetlands of the moon. They waft through your memory, carried on the perfumes of his unwashed body. You proceed westward along a boulevard into the Zeta sunset, its buildings sheer sides in a burning ravine. The cities of hell are more poetically diverse than those of the living, each represented as a numbered aleph in the margins of certain philosophical treatises. Variant glyphs are found in geographies, bestiaries, histories and theologies, in sagas where tragic heroes battle chthonic monsters in their febrile yearning for sex with forbidden species. The philosopher writes, "The indiscernible is brought under a name which is dispersed like the anagram of the name of a god." In the massive scriptorial palaces that lie off the boulevard, you discover maps of cities whose names even the Jinn dare not utter. Once read, they are inscribed in a single memory that taunts you with a forgotten ideal. A black-walled garden, its heavy perfume dragging you down under infernal stars. The topography, style, and even nomenclature varies with the city mapped. Lacking a common standard, like a marble block composing a unit length to attest their correctness, the difference between the real and the fabulous correlatives of maps eludes you, just as the philosopher predicted in his mature writings. Nuns of the order are charged with the philosopher's education. Nominally bound to silence, other than when screaming under devotional torment, the restriction is qualified, not waived, for the duration. They feed him the litany in whispers and scraps of human parchment passed under his cell door. The child inspires the nuns to formulate rules for concatenating his responses. A state diagram of the philosopher machine written on skin cards distinctively marked with purple asterisks. The rules jointly stipulate that the philosopher respond to their inquisition with further questions. In Aleph, he dies obscurely aged 4. The algorithm suffices for the nuns to preserve the child posthumously as an interrogative function.